Hello, dear students. Welcome back to our news channel. Students, imagine a man whose life's mission was to give his people an identity, a voice, and a place on the map of India. This is the story of Shibu Soren, a leader, a fighter, and one of the tallest tribal voices our country has ever seen. So, on January 11, 1944, in a small village called Nemra, back then, it was part of undivided Bihar. Now it is in Jharkhand. A boy was born who would grow up to change the destiny of an entire state. And his childhood students, it wasn't easy. The region was rich in forests and minerals. But people, especially the tribal people, they were poor, they were neglected. So Shibu Soren saw this injustice early in life. And he realized that his community, the Santhals, and other tribal groups need what they needed, a political platform of their own. And that's how in 1973, along with AK Roy and Binod Bihari Mahto, he co-founded the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, JMM. And this students, this was not just a political party, it was a movement demanding a separate tribal state. Okay. So JMM gained support quickly, especially in the Chota Nagpur and Santhal Pargana region. And Soren became the symbol of fight for Jharkhand. And after years of struggle, in 2000, Jharkhand was finally carved out of Bihar. Okay. But students, Shibu Soren's journey wasn't without challenges. And he became Chief Minister of Jharkhand three times, uh, and he remained a respected figure in national politics. Okay, and on August 4th, 2025, the news came from Delhi that Shibu Soren had passed away at the age of 81. All right, and he was basically battling kidney related problems for over a month. So national leaders from President Draupadi Murmu to Prime Minister, and they all paid tribute to him. Why? Because he was more than a politician. He was a bridge between the tribal communities and the rest of the nation. Okay. So today, as we remember him, we remember a leader who fought not just for personal power, but for the pride and rights of its people. Okay, and a man who gave Jharkhand its name, its borders, and its recognition. All right, so now students, let's travel from the forest of Jharkhand to the green hills of Nagaland. So ancient Asian giant tortoise, Asian giant tortoise, the largest tortoise in mainland Asia. It's a basically it's a slow, gentle, and critically endangered species. Critically endangered species. So once these tortoise, you will be surprised to know that once these tortoise roamed Nagaland in large number, but over a decade ago, they almost vanished. Of course, mainly due to hunting and habitat loss. तो पहले देखो कितना ज्यादा था, और अब हैबिटेट लॉस की वजह से, मेनली हंटिंग की वजह से एकदम वैनिश हो गया था. Now this year something extraordinary happened in the Zeliang Community Reserve in Nagaland's parent district. 10 individuals of species from Nagaland Geological Park, uh, they were basically living in the Nagaland Zoological Park, and now they were released back into the wild. Okay, so now this wasn't just a case of open the gates and let them go. ऐसा नहीं था. Conservationists know that animals, they need time to adjust before they can survive in the wild. So the tortoises were placed in a special soft release enclosure, like a training ground, to to help them get used to their surrounding and develop the sight fidelity. मतलब कि वो कैसे जो जहाँ पे उनको रिलीज किया जा रहा है उसको कैसे वो अपने घर की तरह देखें. Okay, so sight fidelity means they learn to think of this place as home before they wander off. And this event was organized by Nagaland Forest Department and the India Turtle Conservation Program. Okay, so that's the key, students. Without local people protecting them, no conservation effort can succeed. इसीलिए हम जब भी conservation की बात करते हैं, हम हमेशा ये कहा करते हैं कि जो local लोग हैं, उनको भी consider किया जाना चाहिए, उनका भी voice include होना चाहिए, right? So students, return of the Asian giant tortoise to Nagaland, it's not just about saving a species. It's about restoring balance to nature. It's about respecting ancient wildlife and showing that even if something is almost lost, it can still be brought back. Now, perhaps, just like the tortoise, some good things in life are worth waiting for. Slowly, patiently, but surely. All right. So just remember that this is critically endangered. Critically endangered है. Critically endangered आपको देखा था आपने जब जो रेड लिस्ट है उसमें लीस्ट कंसर्न होते हैं कैटेगरी डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज होती है लीस्ट कंसर्न वल्नरेबल endangered then the top most is critically endangered के बाद क्या आता है मतलब extinct in wild. ओके तो क्रिटिकली इंडेंजर्ड है ये तो उसका कंजर्वेशन बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ओके अब इसके बाद हम बात करते हैं स्टूडेंट्स नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल की. सी स्टूडेंट्स एवरी ईयर बिफोर एग्जाम सीजन प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी होल्ड्स अ स्पेशल सेशन कॉल्ड परीक्षा पे चर्चा. एंड इन इट यू माइट हैव सीन इट. उसमें क्या होता है बेसिकली जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं वो बच्चों से डायरेक्टली बात करते हैं. Okay, he talks directly to students, parents and teachers, and he also shares tips on how to beat exam stress and study effectively. So this year Pariksha Pe Charcha 2025 did something incredible. It set a Guinness World Record. Okay, so the record was for the most people registered on a citizen engagement platform in 1 month. And the numbers were huge. कितना है number? 3.53 crore. My God. So 3.53 crore people registered and even 21 crore watched it on television. To think about it, millions of students, parents and teachers coming together for one conversation about exams. So that's not just a record, that's a sign of how important education as well as mental well being are in our country. Okay, and this program has been run by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with my government since 2018. And Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, Ashwini Vaishnav, and Jitin Saad, they received the Guinness certificate this year. Right? Now, students, records may be broken in sports, technology, and even in art. But this is a record of connection between leaders and students, between advice and action. All right, तो ये सारी चीजें हैं. So just go through these articles, students, one by one, and For this article, you need to remember how many categories of conservation we have, right? And जैसे वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट है, WPA एक्ट है, तो उसमें हमने स्पीशीज कंजर्वेशन को मेनली 4 कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड किया है, राइट? पहले ज़्यादा हुआ करता था, बट रिसेंटली उसमें रिफॉर्म लेकर आए हैं, इसको चेंजेस लेकर आए हैं, तो 4 कैटेगरीज में हो गया है डिवाइड, राइट? सो दीज आर द स्मॉल थिंग्स दैट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर, okay? And that critical, it is in critically endangered species, एशियन जाइंट टॉर्टोइज। पहले नागालैंड में 10 साल पहले ये वैनिश हो गया था। नाउ दे आर री इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इनटू द कम्युनिटी रिजर्व in Nagaland. All right. So, students, that's all for today. If you like this episode, share it with your friends, and I'll meet you in the next episode. Till then, stay curious and keep asking questions. Bye bye.